Season 2 is now old enough to vote, old enough to fight in the military, old enough to buy cigarettes.
Nope.
You can't do that anymore? It's 21 now?
It's 21. Yeah.
Jeez, bro. Good for them.
Yeah, you can go fight for your country if you can't smoke or drink.
Or drink, yeah.
At least in America.
Not that I don't support it in a sense, but I think that it should raise the voting age to like 30. So many people out there that, yeah. Anyways.
Don't get me started, but...
The day this comes out is May the 11th. Nothing significant about today. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Was yesterday Mother's Day?
Yeah, yesterday was Mother's Day. There you go.
Happy
Mother's Day to all the moms out there, especially to my wifey and to our moms.
Yes.
Joy and
Susan.
So happy Mother's Day to everybody. But as we jump in today, I have a would you rather question for you. I know, shocker.
You would?
Yeah. So, would you rather be able to converse with non-human animals so you can talk to any animal in the world?
What do you mean by non-human?
Well, like, so like a lot of people throw humans into the animal category, right? That we're one of the animals on Earth. I disagree with that, obviously, because I believe that we're made in the image of God, all that kind of stuff. So, but the way this was worded was that, would you rather be able to converse with non-human, so animals, like any animal in the world, or for your entire life, you can be fluent in any human language? So you can either talk to all the animals in the world, or you can talk to all the humans in the world.
But you said you only be fluent in one human language.
No, in every human language.
Oh, in every human language.
So like you go to China, you speak fluent Mandarin Chinese or whatever the dialect is where they're at.
Mandarin, yeah.
You go to the Middle East, you can speak any of the Farsi languages. You know, you think about like wide open, any language you can think of, you can speak it.
The sad thing is we're already almost to that point anyway with technology and AI and
That's
everything.
Getting there. Yeah.
Where
the Google Translate thing on your phone can do a lot. So.
Well, they even have earbuds now that will auto translate as you are talking to people. So you could literally hand the other person the earbud and you could have a complete conversation in your native languages and it will translate back and forth for you. And that being said, again, this kind of goes back to the telepathically controlled pigeons. Could have a lot of fun with that if you could talk to all the animals.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say that you can't still communicate with people.
So the interesting thing about this to me is that we're working under the assumption that if you were able to communicate with animals, that anything about their communication would actually be coherent.
Yeah, it's true.
Because if you think about it, like animals make noises, and their noises are for very specific purposes, right? Dog barks, it's warning. Something's off. I don't like that. Whatever it may be, right? If a dog whimpers, it's sad or needs something, right? They make birds chirp for the sake of like baby birds getting their mom's attention to be fed.
Right.
Full-grown birds make their noises to try to attract mates. So there's this purposes behind it, but I just like my thought process in this was it doesn't say that the animals are capable of like actually talking with you, but it's like if you could understand their language, would it just be like a bunch of squirrels running around going like, nuts? Where's the nuts? I need a nuts. I need this. I want to eat that pumpkin. Like he's like car fast run go. You know, is it like
this way that way?
Yeah, like what would you be hearing if you were able to like if you're translating animal into your head? It's not like they think in full sentences like we do. I think it would just be like even more basic than that, right? Like a squirrel wouldn't be like acorn. It would be like tastes good, tastes good. Put in mouth. Yeah. Take back. You know, it's like just little things like that is all you would get out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like you would get super frustrated.
It's true.
I would anyways.
This is true. I don't know. Some days it might be a welcomed change of pace from dealing with people from work. But that's fine.
Dude. Yeah, that's fair too. The more simplistic life of an animal might be more fun. Who knows?
This is going with the being able to communicate with all the human languages and things like that. That gives me the thing that I would love to be an interpreter and just
make it all wrong.
Make it all or like
start fights.
It's like one of those things where it's like I'm going to translate what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then he's going to incorrectly respond to you and just give the facial expressions like that. But yeah,
like, what did I say?
Yeah,
that could be very funny to work with that too.
But yeah, I don't know. Like the animal, once you brought up like the whole like comprehending and things like that, like you could communicate, but if it's the comprehension, then I'd probably have to go with the human language.
I thought about it from the perspective too of just like, if you had the ability to speak every human language, but you kind of kept it a secret, you could become like a very highly paid spy in a sense.
Oh yeah.
Because you could tell, like, say somebody's going into negotiations like you see in the movies where it's like an American company going to sit down with a Chinese company and they're relying on translators, but there's side conversation that goes on in the room and stuff like that. You could be the one sitting and listening and them not knowing that you understand what they're saying and then reporting back to the boss man. So maybe he pays you millions of dollars just to sit in rooms and be like, oh no, they were laughing at your tie and said you were an idiot and stuff like that before
like the whole,
signing the deal.
The movie Click. I mean, that's where he pulls up the subtitles for all the with the Chinese.
Exactly. So good stuff.
That's a good thing to think about.
All right. You ready to jump in?
Let's do this.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh. I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You're going to be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yes.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh.
Thank you very much.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh is a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua. Josh.
During our dance break just then, Josh and I were talking about burps that get stuck and wishing that people would we could be treated like babies again.
Just have somebody burp us.
Could you hold me and feed me a bottle of energy drink and then burp me afterwards and then maybe swaddle me and put me in my bed?
Just all cuddled up. Just not be able to move.
Yeah. That'd be great.
So I kind of got on a kick from a couple episodes ago when we talked about the Yuba County Five.
Yeah.
And just kind of mysterious disappearances and things like that. What do you know about the Flannan Isles?
The Flannan Isles?
Yes.
Spell Flannan for me.
Flannan.
I'm trying to think. That the name sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know.
Haunted Cosmos kind of glazed over.
Maybe
that's when they talked about the Yuba County Five.
Okay.
I've heard it through a few different podcasts and just like little snippets and things.
Yeah.
So let's take you on a little mental picture ride here. So
it's very simple.
So
ride.
3 men walk into a lighthouse. It sounds like the greatest start to a joke.
Yeah.
But 3 men walk into a lighthouse.
One's a Jewish rabbi.
A pastor, a priest, and a rabbit walk into a bar. And the rabbit looks at the other two and says, I think it might be a typo.
Yeah. That's always a solid joke.
So 3 men walk into a lighthouse on a rock in the middle of the North Atlantic. There's a storm raging. They do their jobs. The light keeps on burning. Then the next crew comes to change them out, and nobody's there.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
No bodies, no blood.
I think I vaguely remember
just
like this
empty
story.
Lighthouse. Some of the most dramatic fake logbook entries, and the internet has gone crazy over them. So
interesting.
Today we're heading to the Flannan Isles to talk about what probably happened and the spookier version that refuses to die.
Okay.
Kind of looking through and kind of thinking about different mysteries and things like that. Like it's one of those things where like I would love to be a lighthouse operator. Like in the middle of the North Atlantic, like literally just you and the ocean, maybe one other person. Like yeah. I think.
Hey, listen, man, more power to you.
Because I mean, I'm a introvert first.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always joke that we're extroverted introverts.
Yep.
Or introverted extroverts. So
I'm the introverted kind, but like this is the difference between you and I is you're thinking lighthouse in the North Atlantic. I'm thinking fire tower in the middle of the forest, right? Like it's just or maybe like a fire watch on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I could get down with. The ocean part of it, I love the ocean, but being out in the lighthouse, like on a rock in the middle of the North Atlantic, is not at all my cup of tea.
Yeah. A lot of people would think, kind of like you, that like I'm never going to take a job doing a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Especially the middle of the North Atlantic, because
rough seas, cold.
Terrible rough sea, cold, storms can pop out of nowhere, a lot of different haunting things that tricks can play on your mind in the middle of the dark, especially out in the ocean.
Ghost women walking on the water.
Right, yeah. Sirens. And,
yep. The whole nine.
We're going to kind of dive into this. There's a lot of speculation in this and a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of stuff the internet has kind of taken and embellished over time. So, this is kind of hard to separate the myth and the fact. So there's going to be a lot of kind of back and forth in this because of...
Wait, you mean to tell me that the internet embellishes stories?
I know, it is hard to believe.
Yeah, I can't accept that.
The next thing you're going to tell me, the government tells us the truth 100% of the time.
Yeah.
First, we're going to take a look at geography. So this isn't just some local beach with a lighthouse that you could see like up on Lake Michigan or things like that.
Right.
Out on the end of a pier. We are on the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. Hebrids. Hebrides.
Yep, I'm going to take your word for it.
So basically on a little rock called Eilean Muir, a part of the Flannan Isles, it's about 20 miles off the coast of Lewis, surrounded by the kind of ocean that looks at you and said, I win, don't even try.
Yeah.
So on top of that...
Just to be clear, the Little Rock is in Arkansas.
No, that's true. So on top of that rock sits the Flannan Isles Lighthouse. It started in operation in 1899, run by the Northern Lighthouse Board. So by December 1900, this place is still pretty new. So it's about a year after its opening.
Yeah.
Like when you finally put your IKEA bookshelf together and you're still really proud of it. There were 3 men working there at the time. James Ducat, the principal keeper, the boss, basically the guy who's always in charge. So you have Thomas Marshall. He's the assistant keeper, former seaman, and does a lot of the heavy lifting. Then you have Donald or William MacArthur. He's like the fill-in guy. I don't know how it got William out of Donald or Donald out of William, but yeah, it says Donald or William MacArthur.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
These aren't
Maybe
tourists.
Maybe his middle name? I don't know.
They are trained professionals whose official job is basically don't let these boats crash on these rocks.
Yeah.
That's like the job of the lighthouse is to warn.
If you're a lighthouse keeper, your job is not to let the
so
ship
if you
strike.
don't know, the lighthouses are not meant to just sit out there and look pretty. They actually do serve a purpose.
Nowadays, not as much as they used to, right? So like nowadays, the purpose of a lighthouse is in case you have a ship that the navigation goes down, or if you have smaller vessels that maybe don't have as advanced stuff on them, they use lighthouses to kind of navigate and figure out where they're at in relation to certain spots on the mainland and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them will also be used as like weather stations, things like that, where they'll have weather measuring things for the storms and things like that. And a lot of them are used for landmarks a lot of the time too.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's one of those things where it's like sometimes if your GPS cuts out or anything like that, you at least have that landmark that, hey, don't come this close to the shore.
Yep.
Our story kicks off in December of 1900. On December 15th, a ship called Archtor, Archtor, Archtor,
sure,
sails past the Flannan Isles and notices something is wrong. No light is coming from the lighthouse. That's kind of an important thing. To
if
come from a lighthouse,
you want light coming out of it.
Light.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's, like I said, the one job is be light.
You had one job.
And you're not even doing it. You only had... So the boat reports that when it gets to... It reports it when it gets to port. But this is 1900, so there's no group chat, no email, no text messages like, hey, you guys all good?
Is telephone there at that point in time? Obviously, probably not on this rock out in the middle of the North Atlantic.
I wouldn't think so, because they would have to have telephone dedicated lines that go out. It's not like now where it runs underground and things like that. And you're talking about an island that's 20 miles offshore.
So hypothetically, even if you get the message from the port where the guy stopped at, and it travels maybe via phone on the mainland to a certain spot, somebody still has to take that message out, get on a boat, go over to the island where the lighthouse is. So it's a long process. Probably takes at minimum hours for this to happen, at maximum days, right?
So this all happened on December 9th or 15th. Sorry.
I wonder if you got carrier pigeons, if you could train them to.
Probably. We're going to jump ahead a few days to this 26th of December, so the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
The lighthouse tender Herpeus, pause.
That is an unfortunate name.
Or Herpes, not any better.
Not helping the situation.
Hesperus, I don't know. Finally heads out for the routine relief trip. So like I said, they're on schedules. So 11 days later, the ship heads out to relieve this crew.
Okay.
So they're expecting, the flag, the keepers waiting at the landing, the usual, hey, we're still alive, please give us mail and food.
Right.
So instead, as they're coming up to the lighthouse, nothing. No flag, no keepers on shore.
Which is the most disconcerting feeling ever in that
signs
situation.
of life, whatever.
Right.
They send relief keeper Joseph Moore ashore alone because that's the best thing to do in this situation. Send one person by themselves.
Yeah. We see no signs of life. Could be a murderous something up there waiting for us. You go by yourself and check it out. We'll wait here.
Yeah.
I'll keep the motor running. So,
yeah. Obviously, if anything looks potentially cursed, you just send one guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So Moore climbs up to the lighthouse and finds the gate is closed. The main door is closed.
Okay.
And nobody answers when he starts shouting these guys' names.
Yeah.
He goes inside. He finds the beds.
To be clear, there's a gate.
Yeah.
On an island, like a rock with a lighthouse on it.
Yeah.
Did they have sheep with them? Or is it,
it is Scotland.
It's just surprising to hear that there was a gate as all. It's like, what kind of neighborhood is this lighthouse in?
Pulled up to the wrong neighborhood. That's why the light was out. They jacked the light.
They shot it out.
They jacked the light bulb.
That's hilarious.
So he goes inside. He opens up the gate, opens up the door. The beds are unmade, like the guys have recently been there. The clock has stopped. The lamps are clean and ready for use.
Because at that point in time, you've got wind-up clocks, I'm assuming.
Lamps are cleaned and ready for use. The kitchen is tidy. No chaos, no overturned furniture. No, we left in the middle of breakfast kind of moment.
Yeah.
So one weird detail, 2 sets of outdoor gear were gone.
Okay.
One set of oilskins, basically like their heavy waterproof gear, is still hanging on the wall.
So essentially, like, the thought process so far is that 2 out of 3 guys got suited up for something and went outside because they don't see them anywhere inside the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and outside, they find no signs of the men. They search the island, nothing. Just like the keepers stepped outside and were gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, this is just my personality. I'm already back in the boat, and we're going back to the mainland, and you can send whoever you want to investigate this. I ain't staying here.
I'm white, but I ain't
that white. Yeah, exactly.
You've heard this story before. This is where the internet usually goes, ooh, what about the logbook? Because back in the day, they kept logbooks of everything that they find and everything that they do. Yeah. Because everything was a routine. And exactly.
And we didn't have cameras and all that kind of crap that we have now to record everybody doing everything.
There is a very famous, very dramatic version of the quote-unquote last entries in the lighthouse log.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see it quoted on mystery websites and some documentaries and on social media posts. Yeah. So on December 12th, the assistant keeper allegedly, now this is allegedly, writes this. This is, like I said, where a lot of the thing has been embellished and made it seem worse than what it is.
Sure.
Severe storm, the likes of which I have never seen in 20 years. Seas raging to a height that frightens even me. Ducat is very quiet and MacArthur is crying.
See, this goes back to my whole thing about, like, I'm not going to be the guy in that lighthouse, because you think about this, the guy that willfully signed on for that job is sitting there crying because of the storm that's outside. I'm sorry, man. Like, you get storms up in the mountains, but if I'm on the mountaintop in a fire watch thing, at least I'm, safe to some degree.
Right.
Anyways.
So then on December 13th, storm continues. Men praying. Never seen such a storm. All three of us praying. Even MacArthur, who was usually a strong man.
I thought you were going to be like, who's an atheist? And I was like, yeah, that thing, crap has really hit the fan now.
Then finally on December 15th, storm ended. Sea calm. God, it's all over.
Yeah, it's all over. And this is the same guy recording all of these things?
Allegedly.
Okay.
It's basically cookie cutter, perfect horror movie plot. Hook, line, and sinker.
Mm-hmm. Definitely sounds like it.
You've got an unstoppable storm, tough men breaking down, super dramatic, God is over all, mic drop. Just poof. So it's such a good story that people went, yeah, that has to be real. But it's definitely almost not. Because, like I said, this is kind of where the internet kind of took over, and we're kind of going to go back into the fact-checking what the logs actually say.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's the embellished kind of story-building side of it. Now we're going to see what was actually in there. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Historians and lighthouse researchers went looking for those emotional entries, and they're just not there.
Instead, they found the entry that says, "We're all three huddled in the corner crying together."
Those lines did not appear in the official investigation report, the Northern Lighthouse Board documentation, and any surviving contemporary records. They do show up, however, in sensational retellings, basically juicy column stories, things like that. Also, lighthouse logs were official documents, so this is what was supposed to go into the reporting at every. I think they did three entries a day.
Yeah.
Morning, afternoon, and night in a certain hour frames.
Gotcha.
So what the weather was, the barometer readings, the wind direction, what time you lit the light, what time you turned it off, and if there's any equipment issues. So pretty standardized things.
Standardized but thorough in a sense. Yeah.
So what you're not supposed to write is stuff is like, Steve is crying and we're all praying, said to help now. Dear journal.
Right.
So from the real
I'm
records,
feeling a little emotional today. The way that the light turned kind of spoke to me in a different way. And yeah,
it's like everything just keeps spinning. Life is just continually going in a circle. Time is a circle.
Sometimes I feel like life is just a tumultuous sea and I'm trapped on a rock in the middle of that sea with a light that I can't explain.
Every journal entry is just an existential crisis.
Yeah. I mean, I'd read it, don't get me wrong. But
so the last written log entries go up to December 13th.
Okay.
The keepers also wrote information for day 14.
So what was... Okay, let's pause for 1 second. Mm-hmm. This story began on what day?
So...
It's the very beginning of December, right?
Yes, December 15th. Or was it 15th or 13th? Hang on.
You said that was the 13th,
December
right?
15th. December 15th, the ship passes.
And notices the light is out. The 13th is when the journal entries stopped. And so journal entries stop on 13. 15, the ship passes by. 26th, they finally send the crew out there to go there. So the light's been out for some time now.
Yes.
13 days. 13.
At least.
At least 13 days.
So like I said, the last written log entries go up to the 13th. The keepers also wrote information for the 14th and for around 9 a.m. on the 15th, but they put it on a slate. Basically like a temporary notepad to be copied. So it's one of those things where basically like a handheld chalkboard where they just kind of write and then they officially
jot quick
log
stuff
it in.
down, and then you go back and write it later to make it legible.
That information was purely practical: weather, temperature, barometer readings, wind, and the time that the light was extinguished that morning. So the morning of the 15th, we have, at 9 a.m. they have when they turn the light out. So at least we know when the light went out.
Yeah, the last time they turned it off, supposedly.
Supposedly, because you're only going to light it if there's bad weather conditions or it's at nighttime. Because presumably you can see and you have enough warning and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there was no drama, no fear, just basically normal business as is.
So these guys are not using this thing to record. Like, I'm feeling kind of angry with Steve today because he ate the last bagel that we had on the island or anything like that. You know, it's none of those touchy-feely things. It's just like, here's the recording of what happened with the lighthouse today and
Very
the weather
factual,
conditions.
to the point, things like that.
Gotcha.
So the real picture is, on the morning of the 15th, they turned off the light, logged the usual data, and sometime after that, something happened. Mm-hmm. The quote-unquote haunted diary version is just a legend. The boring weather data, that's the actual evidence. So we actually have physical evidence that they...
And what was the weather on the day of? Like on the 13th?
It doesn't say. I think it says there's a little bit out from the investigation that we're going to kind of...
Gotcha.
So this is like the official theory for what happened. So if it wasn't ghost pirates or a crying logbook, so let's take a look at what the actual investigation says. Because, you know, who does that?
Yeah. No, we'd rather speculate.
So
it's way more fun.
The NLB sent out Superintendent Robert Muirhead to check things out, and he inspects the island, especially the west landing of the island, and this is what he finds. He finds storm damage around the landing, disturbed ropes and equipment, a box from a crane platform that apparently was damaged or moved by heavy seas.
Okay.
So this leads to the most widely accepted explanation. There was very rough weather in the days around their disappearance. Some of the equipment or the storage box near the landing was in danger of being washed away. Mm-hmm. So 2 of the keepers likely went down to secure things. The third either stayed higher up or came down later to help. A huge wave hit the landing and swept one or more of them out to sea. The last man trying to help or investigate may have been taken out by another wave. So this would explain why the 2 sets of oilskins were gone. Mm-hmm. Why one was left behind. Someone might have rushed out to try to help without putting on any gear.
Right.
Just kind of running out of the house, just thinking like, shoes.
The hero mentality kicked in and he was like, I got to go save my guys.
Exactly. So, and why there's storm damage, but no signs of fight or foul play or anything like that.
Yeah.
Is it mundane? Yeah. Is it also very plausible given the Atlantic storms and exposed cliff landings? Also, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes giant wave plus bad luck equals really bad time.
Yep. Which, right, is the most plausible theory, right?
So,
like, it's always that there's a storm, a situation. 2 guys clearly got suited up and went out to solve some kind of problem, and you just assume that guy number 3 sees something go down and has to rush out there in the last second to try to help out, and all 3 guys are
unfortunately
swept off by a wave. You know, something happens bad.
Right.
So, yeah.
But, you know, who likes a true theory?
I got a better theory, but I'll share it later. After
okay, so I have some rapid fire
theories.
Cool.
Let's go.
All right, so one guy snapped and killed the other 2.
Pretty close to what I'm thinking.
Basically, your classic cabin fever pitch. One keeper goes murder, he kills the other 2, then either jumps or falls to his death. Big problem with that. 0 physical evidence, no blood, no mess, no sign of a fight. If someone did do the murder, they cleaned up. Likely they were auditioning for a crime scene cleaning company. Like, basically, there was nothing to support this theory.
Yeah.
Number 2, they were kidnapped by a passing ship.
I like that one. That's fun.
Because when you're thinking of captaining a ship in nasty seas, you're definitely thinking, hey, let's stop and kidnap the lighthouse staff. You know?
Yeah.
Highly ineffective.
Especially in a place that I'm assuming was pretty dangerous to pull up to, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like, hey, look, there looks like some guys that need a ride. Pick them up.
There's a reason why the guys that went out there, like, because it's 11 days, right, from the time of the ship turning in that, hey, the lighthouse wasn't in operation. It's 11 days till the guys go out to the island. So if it's 11 days from that point, and that's kind of like a big deal.
Yeah.
The lighthouse is not working, and it takes them 11 days to get out there. You're thinking that trips to this island are probably a month out, right? So it's like they go one time, drop off supplies, check on everybody. You all good? Everybody goes, yep, we're good. And they go, okay, we'll see you next month. So the 26th of every month or whatever it is, there's a little boat that shows up out there and stuff, because it's probably treacherous enough that you don't make that trip every single week and risk that many lives and stuff like that, for that sake, in a sense. It's like, no, we're going to show up once a month. You guys have the crane thing ready to drop something down to us. We hook onto your pallet. You hoist it up. That's your supplies for the month.
Right.
See you 26th next month.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my thought process is like, no ship is like swinging in there to try to pick these dudes up and like kidnap them or anything. Plus, like, what are you going to do with 3 lighthouse keepers? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly why. All right, number 3, they faked their deaths and ran away. This is...
Okay, so this is where my theory comes in.
It's kind of a plausible thing, but why? How? They had no boat. There was no easy escape plan, no sightings of them later. Nobody bumped into 3 suspiciously dressed lighthouse-shaped guys in Barcelona. Like, there's nothing to support this. Like I said, there was no way off of the island other than a boat coming to get them. There was no emergency rowboat, no inflatable dinghy, nothing on the island to help them. They're not Alcatrazing their way off of this lighthouse island.
So that's like my other, like, if I'm going wild theories, right, is that I don't remember their names of the guys that were in there, but let's just say like, so it's Billy, John, and Steve are the 3 guys that are on the island, right? That Steve woke up that morning and ate the last bagel or whatever it was, right? Whatever, pick a thing from the supplies that's like their favorite thing to have for breakfast or whatever. He wakes up that morning, he eats the last one. They go through the process of whoever has to turn off the light and stuff on that last day, turns off the light, makes the log, and then comes down, and the 2 guys, other than the one who did whatever heinous thing that they're thinking about, discover that this guy has now, eaten the last bagel, whatever the thing was. When they discover this, the 2 guys talk to Steve, let's say, and they're like, hey man, let's go out and walk around the edge of the island and stuff, just check everything out, make sure it's good. So all 3 of them go out there together. They're walking around, and the 2 guys have plotted, and they grab Steve and they yuck him into the ocean, right? On which, like, onto the rocks or whatever. Steve dies. So they've committed murder, and now they know, okay, later on this month there's a boat coming that's going to get here, and they're going to discover 2 of us with no really good explanation as to why Steve is dead and the 2 of us are still alive. So they suit up in their sealskin suits, right? Get everything dressed up so that they're nice and warm. Alcatraz this bad boy by, like, putting together some kind of flotation device. They set off from the lowest part of the island, kick their way back to mainland, and eventually one of them becomes Adolf Hitler and the other becomes Joseph Stalin or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like but these guys, like, they're like, we have to get off of this island. So they figure out some way to try to do it. Either they die in the process with the suits on, or they make it back to the mainland and go start new lives in another country where nobody knows who they are.
Right.
That's my wild theory out there.
So it's one of those things where when you look at this, a lot of times the sensationalized logbooks is what you actually get when you search for this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where as humans, we always want the fantastic. We always want the story behind the story, so to speak. Not necessarily the truth at all times.
Right.
So I think there's actually a movie based off of this.
Okay.
I think it's called The Lighthouse.
Interesting.
With Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's Willem Dafoe in it. Yep, I'm looking at it right now. The Lighthouse 2019.
Yeah, okay, so I was right.
Yep.
It's one of those things where, honestly, though, if I'm trapped on an island with Willem Dafoe, I'm probably going to guess I'm going to die anyway, so...
Dude does play a very specific kind of character. But it's Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Shiny Vampire Boy is actually the secondary in it. Yeah, and then there's a number of other people that I've seen before and some other things that are a part of it. But
I wouldn't think Bat Boy would be in that movie, but yeah, apparently so.
Bat Boy.
But
so, yeah,
so it's one of those things where a lot of times, like I said, we want the over embellished story. We don't necessarily want the boring, mundane.
Yeah.
The plausible that, something happened. 2 guys went out to go fix whatever started to break or whatever was breaking.
Right.
And they fell out. Other guy checks, hey, what's going on? Maybe was in the process of lighting the lamp.
Right.
And then, because this happened sometime after 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Because they had everything written down on the slate. So that's
he sees the guys from while he's up there trying to light the light and stuff like that, and has to rush all the way down through the lighthouse and out, so he doesn't have time to put on his suit. He's going out to try to save the guys. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's one of those things where if the sea was starting to get as bad as that's the only thing I can think of that kind of puts a little bit of a hole in that theory. You would have thought that he would have lit the lighthouse first if the weather was starting to get that bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's like the only thing that kind of puts a quote unquote hole in that theory for me.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's like, well, did he see that they were struggling? And it's like, oh, they ate the last bagel. And I'm going to push them both over. And then, oh, crap, like, I feel guilty about it now. And then just...
Yeah, goes to the top of the lighthouse and...
Control, Alt, Eat, Delete. So
yeah, wow. Man.
But yeah, that's the story of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse.
Yeah,
but
that's a good one.
I guess like this is probably like the one thing that would like deter me from, working on a lighthouse. I don't know. Like for me, I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Would you ever take a job if you were offered for a month rotation, like a month on, month off?
Right.
Would you go and be a lighthouse keeper?
You're going to go spend 30 days on a little rock with just the lighthouse and sure
but like
enough living quarters,
enough food.
Yeah,
you have a bed, you have everything you need for a month. But you're either by yourself or with one other person. And if it was one other person, who would you be with?
Yeah. Now,
If it was you and me,
and me, yeah. we'd probably have too much fun.
One of us would accidentally, though, like yeet ourselves off, be the oh crap.
We would do fine. And I think the biggest reason would be because like you and I read each other very well. We know like when one of us is worn out, and we would just be like, "Hey, listen, I'm going to go hang out at the top of the lighthouse and just read for a little while or something like that." And the other one would be like, "Yep, okay, I'll hang out down here for a little while. Cool. I'll see you when you get back down."
Yep, I'm going to go take a nap.
I'm going to go take a walk around our, 45 by 45 foot island or whatever it is we're standing on. So
I'm going to go walk backwards just for a change of scenery.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, man. So you guys let us know. Would you be able to do that? And then also, if you have any other like wild theories about what happened to the guys at the lighthouse, let us know. We'd love to hear those too. So I asked you before we started recording today if you had ever heard of Hiroo Onoda. And you said you didn't think so,
No,
right?
well, I thought I did, but it was something we talked about too.
Okay, yeah. So Josh was mistaken about which guy was it that we talked about a couple episodes ago.
It was the way of the monk.
Oh yeah, the
discipline or whatever you want to call it,
Shiku Senbutsu or something like that.
Bless you.
Hiroo, this is just I came across a story, and I don't want to tell the whole thing. I don't even want to get into like the super details of it. I just thought it was super fascinating, kind of what played out in this guy's life. So let me tell you, first off, well, I'll just start from the beginning of him and what kind of happened and stuff, and then we'll roll into it as we go. So Hiroo was born on March 19th, 1922. So you can imagine what was playing out in the world as he became of age of being a man, right? Well, again, we're back to World War II.
Mm-hmm. A place that we constantly find ourselves.
We visit this pretty frequently. I think part of the reason being is just that, like, there's so many interesting stories that come out of that time period and everything. And so Hiroo, at the time of World War II, becomes a Japanese soldier. Okay. And he served as a second lieutenant in the Imperial Japanese Army during the World War II time period. So he was... This is where it kind of becomes interesting, and this is just a weird thing, is that Hiroo was one of the last Japanese holdouts still supporting the Japanese Empire way after World War II was over with.
Okay, I think I know.
Maybe heard of it before?
Well, here's the thing. It's not a one-off case either.
No.
There are quite a few groups that...
What I think is going to be surprising to you is when I tell you the time periods of Hiroo, because when I say that he might have been the last holdout from World War II for the Japanese. So here's the interesting thing that happened, right? Is like there was a point in time where Hiroo and a bunch of his guys were stationed on an island in the Philippines. So at that point in time, Japan still had control over the Philippines. They saw this area as like a hot spot of we need to control certain parts of the Philippines to maintain control. So if people try to start coming to Japan in a sense to fight with us and everything, that's going to be one of the spots where like we know that they're coming from in a sense, or they're going to attack those to hold them off as bases.
Right. But I mean, if you think about it, you're kind of protecting yourself from the Indian Ocean, Australia, that, like up through New Zealand and things like that. Not I mean, I guess there's nowhere in the gigantic vastness of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah. I mean, they took their shot at the one place that they had anything to do in the Pacific Ocean, which was what started the whole thing in the first place for us. So yeah, that's like you guys brought the bad dog into the fight, which is a bad thing. But they see the Philippines and they're kind of like, okay, we need to set up some strategic places out there where we can have our troops and have some people ready so that they can be the first line of defense. So Hiroo is sent out there to Lubang Island, and he is sent out there with this group of guys for the purpose of establishing different bases on the island and everything, right? So his commander, who is Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, I'm terrible with these names, flew over there to this island, and he gave him these orders of never surrender, never fall back. I mean, it's the whole Japanese mentality of going into war, right? Like surrender is never an option.
Right.
There is no turning back and stuff. And so they go out, they begin this kind of campaign of trying to set up these different spots. And over time, they get into these different skirmishes, and he loses a bunch of the guys that are in this platoon that he's sent with, to the point that it gets narrowed down to Hiroo and 4 other men. So him and 3 guys from his platoon. And eventually, like, to keep the long story short, they go and find this spot that's out in the jungles. And I mean, like, deep in the jungles in Lubang in the Philippines. So on this island, he's in the jungles, remote. There's nobody out there, right? And because of all the skirmishes and stuff that he's gone through and having to fall back from the initial post where he was placed, there's no way for the Japanese army to know where he is to get in contact with him. So he basically like silos himself on this island with these 3 guys.
Right.
They set up like this makeshift camp in the middle of the jungle and basically claim it as this is Japan's. And anybody that comes in as an enemy and stuff like that, we're wiping them out. So over time, that happens. Different waves of soldiers and stuff as the World War is raging come through that area. And even some of the soldiers from the Philippines and stuff come through that area. And there's skirmishes all the time with Hiroo and his guys fighting everybody, right? They're just like, this is Japan territory. You step foot on it, we wipe you out kind of thing. And it gets to the point where eventually 2 of his guys are killed. There's 1 guy remaining, and he ends up getting shot at one point in time. Hiroo like bandages him up and nurses him back to health. So it's just the 2 of them holding out in this like jungle thing that they've set up and stuff. But here's the crazy part about it is Hiroo stayed out there in that jungle and finally surrendered on, you want to guess a date? When did World War II come to a close?
So 46.
So yeah, that's what I had in mind. So it's like
45,
46 area.
Well, because we dropped the bombs at 45.
Right. So everything comes to like a complete close in like 1946. The 2 guys that got killed that I told you about earlier were killed in 1950. So 4 years after the war has ended, they're still fighting the war, and he loses 2 of the 3 guys that he has with him at that point in time.
You said what year?
1950.
Yeah, so that's about 5 to 6 years later.
And the other guy, the guy that was remaining with him that he nursed back to health after being shot and stuff like that, eventually dies in 1954. So another 4 years later, so now we're like 8 to 9 years after the end of World War II.
Right.
These guys are still holding out, still surviving off of the jungle and stuff like that. And in 1954, the last guy dies, leaving Hiroo by himself in the middle of the jungle on an island as part of the Philippines. And he still believes that the war is raging on, that Japan is still fighting the fight and stuff like that, and is still like full blood in it, right? And they say that like for the whole time that he's out there, anybody comes up, he's questioning, he's threatening, all this kind of stuff. Hiroo does not surrender and give up the war until March 10th, 1974. This man stayed out there 20 more years by himself in the jungles, fighting for Japan.
30 years after the war is over.
Yes.
You're in like the height of the Cold War.
Just shy of 30 years. Yeah, we're in the Cold War. Everything has changed. Technology has changed. I mean
you're talking about
we've been to the moon at that point in time, hypothetically. So
you're talking what is that post Vietnam? That was in the 60s.
Was it in the 60s?
Vietnam was in the 60s.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that have happened in this point in time. And they say that basically like they sent, like there was some kind of report that someone got, I don't remember all the details of it, but some kind of report that someone got of this guy still being out there and still holding out. And so they sent like representatives from Japan. And from what I recall, I think that one of the guys that was one of his like superior officers, they had to they went out and made contact with this dude, told him the war is over, and he wouldn't believe them. Like the people that came from the Japanese military, he just flat out told them, "You're lying to me and you're trying to trick me into giving up my posts and stuff like that, and I'm not going to surrender this place." So what they had to do is go back and find the guy that was his superior officer that gave him the orders to stay out there that long, bring this guy to the place and have him meet with Hiroo and tell him, "Dude, the war's been over for 30 years. I thought you were dead. You have to give this up, man. Like, good job. You held this post down like no other could, but it's done." And he finally surrenders because of that. Like, they had to bring that guy out to convince him. And so here's the crazy thing about it is that this dude lives all this time in the jungles, holding down this fort, thinking that World War II is still raging on and stuff like that. And he's out there by himself for 20-something years. And it gets to the end of this. He goes back home. He ends up living until 2014.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I just looked it up. So the Korean War, or the Korean conflict, because there was never war officially declared, was from 1950 to 1953. So he missed that war. Then Vietnam was from 1955 to 1975.
Yeah.
So the same period that he is by himself, an entire second war is happening in the midst of the Cold War.
That's
so you like
crazy.
Like and that's the thing too. Honestly, that probably is what perpetuated his idea that the war was still going on, because he would have seen aircraft and ships and stuff in this area, because North Korea, South Korea is not that far. Vietnam is not that far.
Right.
Do you know how many islands are in the Philippines?
Oh, it's a bunch. A whole bunch.
Take a guess.
1,500 islands.
No, not that many.
Not that many?
7,600 islands make up the Philippines.
7,600 islands.
Yes.
And this guy's on a jungle in one of them.
Yes.
So yeah.
Could you imagine
but
though?
if you think about it from his perspective too, though, is like, you see planes, you see ships, you see all this stuff happening and everything, but for him, it's just fuel for, there's a war still raging on. This is World War II still going on, right? And all he's thinking is, yep, they're just sending more troops in to go fight in these different places and stuff like that. He's not,
Yeah, he did that. Like I said, that's probably what perpetuated all of his belief that this was still the same war.
Absolutely crazy. But you think like 30 something years this guy spends in this jungle on the middle of whatever the something Bang Island in the Philippines, and he's out there like holding the fort down. He's like, nope, but this is my post and I'm staying in my post until the very end. And so it's just really interesting. He when he got back, he did write a book. He wrote No Surrender, My 30-Year War, an autobiography published in 1974 and 75. He went on to kind of become a cattle farmer and stuff like that. And he actually said that when he came back, there was a lot of hoopla made about him and stuff like that. And he didn't like any of it. They said he was just like, obviously the guy doesn't mind solitude and stuff.
Right.
And so,
and the thing is, essentially, he would probably have considered himself a failure.
Yeah. Well, I think that to a degree he saw it as like maybe not a failure because he held out until his commander came and told him,
right,
you're done. So maybe he's sitting there going like, no, I fought the good fight. I stayed the whole time and stuff, but he didn't want recognition for it. He never like asked for anybody to do anything. And then when he came back though, like Japan recognized him as like a hero, and Hiroo the hero. And so, they brought him back and started recognizing for all these things. And he's just like, I don't really care for all this. I was just doing my duty, right? Like what they told me to do in that sense.
But it took how long for them to recognize Yamaguchi as the second or the person to survive both Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Right. And
so this dude comes back, and just because he's like, no, I don't believe it. I'm still going to fight people.
Yeah. Yeah. So for a long time, like towards the end of his life, he ended up, Hiroo spent, starting in like 1984 and going afterwards, he would spend like 3 months of the year in Brazil, and then he would spend the other 9 months in Japan back home. And he basically just like kind of went on doing his own thing in retirement and all that kind of stuff. And then, he like lived until 2014. The guy was like 91 years old when he died.
That's crazy.
So wild. So, I mean, what you could imagine, a guy that spends that much time out in the jungle by himself is just like, I refuse to die.
Oh yeah.
I'll carry on.
Well, I mean, I know that the Japanese have a much longer life expectancy than the average.
Well, yeah, because they eat way healthier than we do and exercise more and all that kind of stuff.
Well, so I mean, it's like any major metropolitan city, and I mean the city
major metropolitan
is not set up for mass vehicle transit. It's set up for walking or mass public transportation.
Right. So yeah. But just an interesting story. I came across this and I was like, I don't know that I wanted to like get into all his nitty gritty details about the war and all that stuff and what he was doing, but like just fascinating that 30 years after a war ends, you've got this one dude who's just holding out and he's like, nope, it's staying on my post, doing what I was told.
Could you imagine?
You got to think that like for me, it's like 1 year after not seeing some action or something like that, I would have gone at least in the town and been like, hey, by the way, big war that was going on. And everybody's like, yeah, that's been done with, bud. And he'd go, oh, okay. Yeah.
But like, I wonder what his reaction was when he comes back and finds out about the 2 nuclear bombs that were dropped.
Yeah. I think more about his reaction when he comes back and just discovers like all the technological advances and stuff that have happened in his absence.
Like television and world news and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, when that guy left, it was like radios and that was it. And,
right. Now you're
still
coming back to the cusp of nuclear power and
the United States is the new world power and all that kind of stuff. Like all kinds
Russia
of
is falling apart. And, man,
Germany's been dismantled basically and reduced down to
nothing and is helping people now. It's just one of those things. Like I'm trying to think of even 20 years ago, like second year of college, if I went into a coma and then woke up now, how much different things are.
Yeah, to go from MySpace and offline video gaming, basically, like we were just getting into video games at that point in time. And you think about going from then to now and having this cell phone in your pocket and stuff.
Going from landlines and flip phones.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Just mind-boggling stuff.
Yeah, and that's... Yeah, I'm literally trying to wrap my head around thinking, how much drastically things are different from 2006 to 2026.
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah. I know, dude.
Like, I remember,
I think about the
searching
differences.
Tiger Direct for a capture card so I could plug it into my TV to my computer so I could record myself playing Halo 2.
And I remember Duck Hunt, the original with.
Oh yeah, so do I. It's like Duck Hunt.
Yeah,
it was Super Mario. It was Super Mario Brothers 2 and Duck Hunt, or was it just Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt?
It was just Super Mario Brothers 2 and Duck Hunt together on the same thing.
Yeah, that's what
I had. That one. Yep.
I had the gold-plated Zelda game.
Yeah. I never played Zelda back then, but
that's actually the only Zelda game I've ever played. Was the original Nintendo.
Yeah, but you just think about how far we've come in our lifespans. Like, we've gone from computers that were the size of rooms that had less processing power than your cell phone has now, to the technology we hold today. I mean, the fact that you can get a thumb drive that'll store a gigabyte worth of information on it. And you used not to be able to store that in a warehouse.
Right. Well, and just the simple thing of the access of the internet.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Like, that's... to go from putting a disc in your computer and listening to that...
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You just hear the dial tone.
Hang up, Grandpa.
And waiting for 5 minutes for a web page to load.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then you go.
Most people don't even understand that concept now. It's like you clicked on something and you could go use the restroom and get a snack, and by the time you got back, it was halfway loaded on your computer.
And then you had just the affordability of technology.
Yeah. Yep.
Like a VCR for a couple $100.
Right.
And that was on the cheaper side.
Yeah. Yep.
And DVD players and Blu-ray players and...
Well, that's one of the things that's very funny to think about is how much people complain, because we've had a thing in our house recently of jokingly complaining about the commercials again that they put into all the streaming platforms,
all the
right?
paid streaming platforms.
Where you're paying, but you still get commercials and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but think back. Think back to the fact that we used to pay a couple $100 for a VCR, a couple $100 for a TV. And then once you got that set up, you still had to either go buy or rent VHS movies. And I mean, your Blockbuster thing, my parents had to cut me back on Blockbuster because you'd spend all the money they made just renting movies and video games and stuff like that. You don't take them back on time. You get charged extra, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it's
you had to buy the auto rewinder so you could watch another movie while the other one was rewinding.
But you put that in the perspective now, it's TVs are so dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And you spend $15 a month on Netflix or whatever, and you can watch every show, a movie, and all that kind of stuff. It's it's not even a comparison anymore, but we complain about it anyways because we've gotten so used to the modern
people were
version of it.
Jumping for joy that Game Pass went down in price again.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just because they got rid of one of the worst devolving game franchises in modern history with Modern Warfare.
Yep, for sure. All right, well, that's enough of us ranting about being old, but
I turned 40, and then
it just happens.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, so by the way, everybody, we're celebrating Josh's birthday, because I should have said this in the last episode and stuff, and I forgot about it, but just a couple days ago, Josh celebrated turning 40 years old.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 40 Club, man. I'm way ahead of you still. Yeah. I'll stay that way forever.
Yeah, that's what one of my friends from college, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, happy birthday! turned in the big 4-0, and because his birthday was like a month ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, yep, just still trying to catch up to you. Like,
Shut up. Well, we hope you guys will have a great rest of your week. Take the time to go into our comments and wish Josh a happy birthday. Let us know your thoughts on the stuff for the, if you would go out and actually work at the lighthouse, or what your theories are on that story. Let us know your thoughts on Hiroo and him just staying out there for freaking ever in the jungle and holding down stuff. But we'd love to hear all your feedback and everything. And Josh is going to tell you a little bit about what you can find on our link tree real fast, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so our link tree has all of our social media links, our podcast links, things like that. Go ahead and click on those, all of them. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, follow, like I've said and I got away from saying. But you can, especially on Facebook, you can like something and not follow it, and follow something and not like it. Why don't you head and just go do both? Set all of our episodes to auto download, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Set those to download, because that actually helps us more in the algorithm than just listening to the episode. Basically, when you download it, it says, hey, I like this and I want to keep continuing listening to this, even though the episode week is over. So it helps us in that algorithm just to get us out to more people.
We would appreciate that. Otherwise, we hope you guys have a great week this week, and we will see you back in episode 20. Love you. Bye.
What's your go-to hot dog topping?
Singular
or toppings?
Oh, so I'm a regular, maybe too much of a regular at Sheetz, and when I order my hot dogs there, it is mustard, ketchup, chili, cheese, like American sliced cheese laid in the bottom under the hot dog, onions, and jalapenos.
Okay.
So that's my Sheetz order. If you're asking me like what I do here at home, it's typically just going to be light mustard and ketchup, and then chili over top of it.
Okay. I've had Sheetz hot dogs the last 2 days. So
yeah, I love them, man.
I mean, $2 the $5 meal combo.
Oh yeah.
Where you get like 4 nuggets, 2 hot dogs, and a regular drink for $5. I mean, you can't beat it.
Not at all.
2 hot dogs for $2.
Yep.
See, my go-to at Sheetz.
I got more Sheetz points going on than I know what to do with.
Pretzel bun. Got to have the pretzel bun. And then I get ketchup.
I do regular buns, but I appreciate the pretzel.
I'm a little bit more bougie with the pretzel bun.
Yeah.
So you do the pretzel bun, mustard, ketchup, sauerkraut.
Okay, I'm not a huge kraut fan. I like kraut, but it's not like...
And then I'll do banana peppers on top of that.
Yeah, banana peppers, solid choice.
But yeah, that's my go-to.
I like the jalapenos on mine. That's my spice in it, but yeah.